African American music, dance, and history. How many of you like to dance or listen or play music? Well, many people do, and I definitely do too. But what about dancing and music in African American culture? We see it and hear it all around us today from some of the greats like Aretha Franklin, Louis Armstrong, Michael Jackson, William Grant Still, James Brown, and B.B. King. We also see some of this new age in the new age decade like Chris Brown, Pharrell Williams, Beyonce, Kendrick Lamar, and a whole bunch of others. The list could literally go on and on. We have seen magnificent African American musicians over the years, and for some people they have seen it for decades. I have plenty of people in my family who sing and play music and also dance. So I want to talk to you about music and dance in African American culture starting off in the slavery time. Now back in the slavery times around when it was just starting in the 1500s, dance styles of hundreds of African ethnic groups merged with European dances, forming the extensions of African aesthetic in the Americas. Now, dancing had always been an integral part of daily life in Africa, but in the Americas, it helped enslaved Africans connect with their homeland, keeping the cultural conditions alive. According to AAregistry.org, before enslavement, Africans would dance for special occasions, such as birth, marriage, or even regularly as part of their daily activities. And it also made sure life and the outlook for a better future. African Americans sang and danced while working as slaves, and as it continued, they converted to the religions of the Americas. Now, blacks who worked in the colonies of South America were given more freedom to dance than enslaved blacks in the North. North America slave owners had barred Africans from most forms of dancing, but Africans found ways of getting around this. For example, since lifting feet was considered dancing, they would allude to foot shuffling and hip and torso movement. Dances that were dominant in the 18th century, including the ring shout, or ring dance, the kalenda, the chicha, and the juba. Next, I want to talk to you about music and dance in the Civil War era. The information I found on TheRoot.com says, every tale of a struggle and triumph has its soundtrack, and African Americans' fight for freedom in the U.S. is no different. From spiritual with roots in African to songs with hidden messages for those fleeing slavery to brave civil rights anthems, these works of music are more than art, they are sounds of our history. Songs like "Oh Freedom" by the Golden Gospel Singers, "Go Tell It on the Mountain," and "We Shall Overcome," sung by Mahalia Jackson, and "A Change Is Going to Come" by Sam Cooke. Also, another song that helped make history is called "Ain't Gonna Let Nobody Turn Me Around." Songs like these were important during the Civil Rights Movement in the Southern USA during the 1950s and also the 1960s. When many blacks and white activists and the students protest against discrimination laws and the segregation of races in public places, many went to jail and many were beaten severely by white policemen. But they continued to sing songs of freedom in the jails to keep their hopes strong for freedom. Especially in the song, "Ain't Gonna Let Nobody Turn Me Around." The words in the song saying, "Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around, turn me around, turn me around. Ain't gonna let nobody turn me around. I'm gonna keep on talking, marching down freedom's land." Also continue to say, "Ain't gonna let injustice, segregation, oppression, jail cells, and violence turn me around. I'm gonna keep on walking and talking marching down freedom's land. Most of these songs told stories of history and helped make history for African Americans. Finally, African American music and dance in the 21st century took a different approach and drew heavily on hip-hop sounds and styles of rhythm and blues, and even gospel had adapted so fully to the newer approach that stars such as Mary J. Blige, R. Kelly, and Kirk Franklin straddled both worlds. Hip-hop would become a multicultural movement. However, it still remained important to many African Americans. It became a cultural movement of the 1960s and 1970s, and also fueled the growth of funk and later hip-hop forms such as rap and hip house, new jack, swing, and go-go. House music was created in the black communities in Chicago in the 1980s. African American music has experienced a bigger widespread acceptance in America, popular music in the 21st century than ever before. Our guides, hmcpl.org says, in addition to continuing to develop newer musical form, modern artists have also started to rebirth of older genres and form of genres such as neo-soul and modern funk inspired groups. African Americans have left their mark on every form of American music and dance today, and we have seen some magnificent people over the years, and some of us over decades. African American music and dance has impacted history big time, is continually to do so, and makes me feel like I can also make music and do the same. So in the end, Jessica Barnett says it best. We have come too far to limit ourselves, and it is about time we embrace all of what the arts has to offer, especially when our people work so hard to build it.
Thanks.